Gaming Today presents Cash Considerations.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations podcast. Today is Thursday, February 4th. It is Super Bowl week. We finally made it. We are here. We made it to February, and we went for it all. We went to go get the big guests, and we're going to talk Super Bowl stuff. We're going to talk all kinds of shit. But, you know, before we do, I want to mention that the boys are here. Carl Haskell at Carl Haskell. Reynolds, I am Reynolds 2305, producing the show. I am Dave Sharapan at Sportsbook Consigliere, Sports BK Consig. And tonight's guest from my hometown, Pittsburgh, PA. But he's out in the sticks a little bit where he grew up, but he's got it all. He's talking. He's bringing it, and he got the best beard in the game right now. Tone Diggs at Tone Diggs. Diggs, what's up, man?
Boys, Dave, Carl, Reynolds, thank you for having me on. To be honest, this is the first podcast besides Pat McAfee Show, Hammer Dahn, that I have done in 2 years. So it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be back on the scene.
Well, I mean, he is the cowboy on the Pat McAfee Show.
Yeah,
He is the host of the Hammer Dahn podcast with Pat, Gumpy, and Michael Lombardi. You can find that at Hammer Dahn. And, you know, obviously the Pat McAfee Show is at Pat McAfee. But we're here to talk to you, Diggsy. Like, this is what we're going to talk about. Tell everybody, for the listeners, where are you from originally?
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm not from the fucking sticks. I can tell you that.
Whoa.
Unless 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh is the sticks.
For people listening to the show, you know that 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh is the sticks. This is what the boys at Green Tree called the boys in Plum. Like, that was the country out there. No? Plum High School, right?
No. I mean, there's the mean streets of Plum.
Oh.
And then there's the farm side of Plum. I was from the mean street side of Plum.
Who knew? My cousins lived in Plum, and they must have lived in the farm side because there was nothing but woods behind where they lived. You know, it wasn't by Boyce Park or nothing, but it was close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I grew up right next to a McDonald's. I grew up right next to a highway. The farm side's on the other side. I'm more like you, my friend.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I didn't know that. All right, cool. So did you play sports growing up?
Yeah, I did. I played soccer, football, baseball, basketball. High school, I played basketball, football, and baseball. And then when I went to the prestigious, if there was more grass, it would have been Ivy League, Duquesne University. I played football for 2 camps.
Did you really?
Yeah, played football for 2 camps, 1 spring ball. Got hurt in both camps. Was having too much fun down the south side, so I quit.
Yeah, little. You could have way too much fun down the south side. Who was the coach? Who was the head coach?
Jerry Schmidt.
So I played softball with Jerry back in the day. That's how old I am. Yeah.
Beer league softball.
Me and Jerry, beer league softball up at Banksville Park, you know, and all the other city fields around town.
Tell you what, as a football coach, Jerry's got as much personality as the fucking wall behind me. But I assume as a softball player, great guy.
Same thing. We used to stick him in the outfield. Nobody talked to him. He just did his thing. But he can hit the fucking ball, Diggs. He can hit the ball.
Tell you what, he coached wins, but I have no idea. His personality was just nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Did you ever play deck hockey at Penn Hills?
I wasn't a big enough scumbag to be playing deck hockey at Penn Hills.
So for those of you who don't know, deck hockey is street hockey on a rink. But it's really hardcore. And I grew up playing out at Penn Hills, and you know, because we played ice hockey, and it was a big trip to go out there, out the Parkway, you know, go out and park the car, and then if it wasn't a fight on the deck, there might have been a fight in the parking lot. Like, it was a rough. I mean, that was the mean streets of Penn Hills. No.
Yeah. I played 1 season, and it was after college. It was like a men's league where you drank in the parking lot before and after, and there was a fight every single game.
What position did you play in football?
In high school, I was a safety wide receiver, and then when in college, I got moved to outside linebacker.
Damn, could you run?
No. No, that's why I got moved to linebacker. I was like a 4'6", 4'7" guy.
Okay, well that ain't bad. I mean, that's that ain't. I mean, you're still running. That's pretty good.
Well, I was one of those guys that too small to play linebacker, too slow to play safety, so it never really worked out.
Did you like the contact?
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. All right.
Yeah.
So now you're into this gambling space, right? Like you and Pat and the boys and all this stuff. Like, so get me to the beginning. My first question about that is, were you around gambling growing up over there in them mean streets out in Plum?
Well, my last name ends in an L.
Okay,
so,
fair. Okay.
So yeah, it was. My father is the current president of the Italian club in Renton in Plum. So
yeah, the ISDA, the Italian Sons and Daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We went to the one in McKees Rocks. That's all right. We got it. Yeah.
So yeah, I grew up, but I was thinking about this like a couple of weeks ago, actually. My first like real bet with a bookie was when I think it was 16. I was a big Tar Heels fan, and they were -3 against Florida State. And I remember thinking like, this is a lock. Florida State stinks. North Carolina, let's go. North Carolina, I think they were up by 24 or 27 at one point in the game. Florida State came back to tie it, went into overtime. North Carolina didn't cover. That was my first taste of gambling. I've been hooked ever since.
Of course, it's the loss that gets you in. It's not a winner. It's the loss that gets you in. And you're like, oh, no, I had that. I could have won it. And now, so, I mean, like you're at Duquesne. I mean, there's probably some stuff going on there. You're around it, this and that. And then you graduate. So what did you do right after graduation?
Dude, right after graduation, for 22, for like 6-7 years, I just went into sales.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really good at bullshitting. So
no,
and that's all sales is. So I just went into bullshit. I just went into doing that. I worked for a company called ADP, which is a payroll company. Just slinging that shit, and then stayed in contact with Pat, who I went to high school with. We were friends.
You guys graduate together?
No, he was a year older than me.
Okay.
But we lived on the same street growing up.
And so let me guess, they still live there, the parents?
No, they moved to Indianapolis.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They moved to Indianapolis to follow his career. But like all through then, me and Pat stayed in contact. And then I saw him start doing some interviews and stuff with Barstool. And at the time, I was a big fan of them. So I said, hey, if they ever have any job openings or anything like that, I'd love to get into that industry, because I do love gambling. I do love just bullshit in sports and stuff like that. So when he retired and ended up kind of starting with them, he gave me a call. That's how I came into here.
So were you at the Cosmo with him and the Barstool guys? You were there?
Oh, yeah. When there was a shooting that day, we were locked inside for like 6 hours.
So Diggs, I was behind the counter. I was working. So
at the Cosmo,
you guys were pretty fucked up. You were all having a real. Oh yeah. No. Oh no. You were having a real good time.
Carl, is he fucking judging me?
No, I don't think he's judging. I don't think he's judging at all.
You guys come to my window, and I'm like, I know who Pat is, and I hear the Pittsburgh accents and all this shit, and I'm like, hey, McAfee, you got to get the numbers. Let's go. Get this shit together.
Oh,
Dave from Pittsburgh. And he's laughing. He's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, you went to Plum High School, right? And he's like, yeah. And I said, did you have a woman named Sharapan for a teacher? And he goes like, you, just like that. That was the reaction. He goes, what the? And I go, that's my cousin. I said, and he went, oh, because he was going to say something. And I go, hey, man, I ain't talked to her in 20 years. I don't like her either. Like she's a mean cuss. Like, I get it. And he's like, oh, that's fucking great. This and that. And then that shooting happened.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. We ran. Like, where did you go that day?
We were in our room when that happened. We were just about to leave to go to some pool party somewhere. So it didn't really affect us other than we had to stay in our room for a couple extra hours before we left the building.
Okay. I was downstairs when somebody came through the doors and said, there's a gun. And everybody started moseying towards the lobby. And then there was a bang, and I don't know what the bang was. And people started banging into people and really running. And I got outside as fast as I could. Next thing I know, SWAT teams, there was all that shit. Did you see all that stuff?
Yeah, we could see it from our room. So if we look down, we could see it down on the street. They don't have a panic room for you?
No, there was
A guy your stature?
Dude, I was running down Flamingo, like not looking behind me. I was sprinting. I was running. They're like, where are you going? I said, I don't fucking know, but I'm not staying here. That's the fastest I ran in years. I was running. But then I came back and I never saw you guys again. Like, just the timing didn't work. And I think you guys jetted out of there Sunday, but like you were turning it out before.
That was a long weekend, man. That was during March Madness, and I had just started with this job in February. So like I'd been there a month, and what happened was we were doing a promotion with Bud Light. If your team and it had to be a double digit seed, if your team got to the Sweet 16, you got to go to Vegas on their dime. And Pat, I believe, had Xavier, and Xavier made it to the Sweet 16 as a 10 seed or something like that.
Yes, they did.
So he brought us with us out there.
Nice. Oh my God. Yeah. So I've been waiting to ask you that for like a year. Like I've been like, I got to ask that because I remember the guys there. And it was fun. The shit at the window. We had a good time. I came out and talked to you guys, but you probably don't remember because I was working and you weren't. Yeah.
I love the Cosmo. It's my favorite place to stay there.
Yeah. Well, we'll have other places when you come out. We'll I'm here.
I'm excited to check out Circa.
Yeah, we'll be able to hook it up. There'll be some things going on there. That'll be fun.
That'll be awesome.
So I got to ask you because everybody wants to know. We watch the show. Everybody watches the show. What do you do to that beard? That beard is fucking glorious. Like it is. What do you put in that beard?
I'm lazy, Dave. I just let it go. I'm lazy, and I'm an aging man who has, 20 to 30 pounds I could possibly lose. So I hide it. No, I've had this. I haven't shaved in probably 5 years or so.
Oh my God.
Well, listen, I trim it.
Yeah.
I'm married. I trim it.
Of course. You just trim it. Like that thing's off your face. And like for the listeners on YouTube, you're watching a feed. If you don't watch the show, you got to watch the show. But it's glorious. And then like tonight you're wearing the 412 hat, but you don't usually wear this cowboy hat. Like the whole look, like you've gone kind of Hollywood for a kid from Plum. No,
the cowboy is a new thing for some reason. So I got COVID the week of Christmas. And then when I came back, I started wearing a cowboy hat and they started calling me the COVID cowboy. And then I just got something in the back of my head. And for some reason, I just started more than I normally do, taking shots at groups of people, and not caring about the hate that came with it, mostly from Juju, my friend Juju, who I have a big issue with.
Yeah.
But now I'm the COVID cowboy and it's my thing, and I'm going to stick with it probably for another month if I had to take a guess. Well, you know what happened? You ever watch Yellowstone, the show?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has. Go ahead.
I've seen it.
Carl,
Yep.
Great show. So normally when I watch shows, like I watched Mad Men, and then I started drinking Old Fashions all the time. Whatever show I'm watching at the current time, I kind of adapt into that human being. So I watch Yellowstone, which is a cowboy show, and I'm a chameleon, and that's what happened. I have no spine. I just kind of turn into whatever I'm watching.
Make sure you don't watch the Golden Girls next.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate that.
Hey, just looking out for
Stay
you.
away from that. So all the promotions and stuff that we see like during the show, all the little things with Pat and you guys and all, what he did is crazy shit, all these videos. One of the ones is him delivering bags. And I always refer to my time in the sports book, like the bag guys, like they come in with bags of money. And I've taken $1 million bet. There was just a video that I did with Yahoo Sportsbook telling a story about $1 million, bet coming in, and they animated it. But like bag guys, I've been saying that. Listen, I've been saying that since the days in Pittsburgh. Like I grew up in Green Tree. I was downtown. We had a business called Rouse.
The duffel bag boys.
Right. You know what I'm talking about. Well, listen, your man delivered a bag, and it looked like he woke you up in the middle of the night. So tell me the story about a childhood friend delivering a bag to you in the middle of the night with some cash in it.
It was awesome. It was like everything came full circle. So when I started with Pat, I had just been at a new job with American Express. It was like my dream sales job. I'd been there for a month. And Pat gave me the call, and he gave me I didn't accept it immediately. I thought about it for a week or two, talked to my parents, talked to my friends, because like I had just got this solid job where I was going to be set for a good amount of time.
And you're in Pittsburgh or you're in Indy?
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Where I've lived my entire life for 27 years. My whole family's there. All my friends are there, blah, blah, blah. Then Pat calls me and offers this other dream job in sports, which I've always wanted to do my entire life. And I kept thinking to myself, you know, I could always go back to sales. I could always go back to corporate America. I could always do that. So I did take the job with Pat. And at first it was like, he was helping us out as far as living and stuff like that. But as far as money, it wasn't a lot to start. And he said, whenever we made it, we got our first big deal, he was always going to take care of us. So we got to deal with FanDuel. And it was literally like 4 days later. I think it's like 11:30 at night. I'm an old man, 32 years old now. I'm sleeping. I hear a knock and a ring at my door. I grab my bat because I sleep with a bat next to my bed. And I'm peeking out my window and I can't see who's there. I can't make it out through my window. So I open the door and I have my bat, and it's Pat standing there with our camera guy, Foxy. And I know exactly what it is at this point. And he hands us a bag full of cash, and it was just the best, man. It was, he delivered on his promises, and it was just the best thing that's ever.
It was so awesome to watch. And like, you could feel it that what you didn't know it was coming. Like you had no idea that was coming. And now you tell the story. I mean, you answered the door in the middle of the night with a bat, like, you know, and one of the other fellas, I forget who it was, answered the door, like, and he goes, "Did you rob a bank?" Like
that was his dad.
There were so many good reactions to that. And I saw it in between, you know, when you guys take a commercial break and you run those things on the YouTube thing. And I said, I got to ask Diggsy, like, I have to ask about that, because like, you want to talk about just a culmination of like, I mean, we're all in now, you know, right?
Correct.
And so, I mean, you're doing that, and now you're doing this. I mean, tell the listeners about Hammer Dahn, because I mean, the McAfee Show 2.0, it's blowing up. Like, if you don't know what that is, I don't know what you're watching, what you should be listening to. The Rogers interview every week, riveting stuff, the best thing anywhere. And Pat's so real, which you don't have to be from Pittsburgh to like it. Like, he's as real as it gets. And when people come on the show, they're realer than real. Like, they can come on there and know it's a safe zone. And then this little spinoff that you got going, this Hammer Dahn, tell the listeners, you know, what it is and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, Hammer Dahn, we do it every Monday, Thursday, and Friday at 3:30 on our YouTube. It started, we've always done, this is like my third gambling podcast with Pat. None of the other ones really stuck. We had some changing parts and stuff like that. But before the season, you know, we talked about it, and Pat's like, I want to do one. You'll host it. Gumpy, our Canadian friend, he's from Canada. He joined us earlier this year, who right now might be the best soccer.
He's on fucking fire.
Handicapper. He's on fire. It's unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
But then the final piece, like, because like Pat obviously played in the NFL, knows the NFL. I'm just a degenerate. Gumpy's degenerate. But then when you bring in Lombardi, who was a GM, who was a scout, who was with the Patriots forever, who was also well versed in the gambling side, like, that was the additional piece. And all we did all season was just bullshit about, like, there's too many shows that take themselves way too fucking seriously. And so I just take what Pat teaches us and just talk about gambling, just like you're hanging out with your friends. And Lombardi fit really well into that. He could turn it on, turn it off. He could turn the GM thing on, and he could be one of us and start dropping F-bombs and talking about Goodfellas and shit like that. But it's awesome. I've loved it all season long. I think we're going to continue it because Gumpy obviously loves soccer. He loves college basketball. I do college basketball and baseball. Lombardi loves basketball. So we're going to continue through the off season. But it was awesome to do. We got more traction than I thought we would this season.
I mean, and that's great because like I've been kind of watching it and dialing in, and I'm here in Vegas. I know a lot of the VSiN guys and so I have the connection there. But when I saw it and when you listen to Lombardi give you that inside shit, like you're great about just kind of backing up and letting him talk. But then you get to the gambling stuff. And you and Gump, like you can tell, like you guys are, want to know the plays or what do you think? Like, and you always cycle it back even at the end. Like, so what do you like in the NBA or college basketball tonight? It's great. Well, all that contract stuff's great. You got any games?
For football, I'm not going to pretend like I know more than Lombardi or Pat. And I know that I'm not going to pretend that I'm anywhere close to as notable as Lombardi or Pat. So like I'm there just to steer the ship. Let them talk about what they know. And then Gumpy and I will come in with the trends, where the money's at, stuff like that. Because that's not what their strength is. So we'll kind of, it rounds out nicely.
Yeah.
It's awesome though. I love doing it.
It's really good. And I can tell you, I mean, as someone who's very well versed, I mean, in the sportsbook world, I picked up and left Pittsburgh at 26 to go work in Curacao at an offshore sportsbook. And
look at you.
Yeah. So like
I saw it on your Twitter.
Yeah. So like there's people that like, you listen and you learn and then, you're just like, it's really good. So I just wanted to bring the listeners of our podcast to follow Hammer Dahn and listen to it. It's like you said, don't take yourself too serious and have a conversation and people can listen if they want. Like that's the approach. I mean,
we're not out there selling $50,000 whale plays or anything like that.
Why not?
We're just out there having fun, man.
Hey, if Gumpy keeps this shit up, you could probably start this up.
Dude, there's a lot of people who are saying like they are just blindly following him. And I don't know if Lombardi was bitching or bullshitting or not today, but he said the sportsbook guy at the Borgata, his name is escaping me right now. He's starting.
Tom Gables.
Yeah. It's starting to look at his picks.
He's full of shit. Just so you know, Diggs, he's not really doing that. That was for the show. Lombardi.
I know that. Hey, I know that. He's an Italian too. I know.
Yeah, exactly. We're all the same. In some regard, we're all the same.
I know.
So last question before we get to some Super Bowl stuff. What do you think of this Mattress Max stuff? Did you get it? I mean, like really, like you talk about a bag. I mean, this guy shows up, he does a furniture promotion, and then he announces that he's hedging, as a bet. It's a hedge. He's not risking anything, I mean, do you have a thought about that at all?
Yeah, my only thought is, how often do people buy fucking mattresses? I mean, I have the same mattress for the last 8 years. I mean, how many people in Houston are buying fucking mattresses? This guy can drop $3 million bets all the time.
I thought the same. I tweeted about that today too. I said, how good is the furniture business? And now, not only is he got, if Kansas City wins by 1, 2, or 3, he took 3.5. He's got the middle. He wins the bet and he wins the promotion. It's a fucking jackpot. So nobody gets the furniture free. And he wins the bet if Kansas City wins by 1, 2, or 3. And he's got that smile like, hey, I'm coming back for baseball season. See you later. It's unbelievable.
See, the news today, I didn't even know it was part of another mattress promotion. I know it was baseball mattress World Series promotion with the Astros. I didn't know today was a promotion.
Well, and, he's been popping around Vegas like for years trying to get this type of action. And the guys in Vegas, we've all taken the approach like you're here once or twice a year. It's like a quick, shot. Like if you're going to bet with us, we'll give you these limits. But it's not a bet. You're hedging and we can't manage it. So it's like, there's a lot that goes into taking a $3.4 million bet. That's the biggest bet I ever heard, single bet on a game. And the hoops you have to jump through to get to that point, it's not like somebody can just walk in and do that anymore. Like back in the day, you could do that. And I'm sure probably at home in Plum and some other places, we could find a guy to take it or something like that, but not now. There's just too much.
So is he liked around town, or
Who?
is Mattress Mac liked around Vegas, or?
Not really. He's not a Vegas guy. Let's put it that way. That's why I think he fly to Colorado and now he go to Mississippi. Yeah. Like it's just too hard to get down in Vegas. Like he ain't a Vegas guy.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be getting any World Series bets or anything like that down in Vegas anytime.
He's not respected. Let's put it that way.
Maybe you said that. I didn't say that, but I kind of agree. Carl, you got anything for Diggsy before we go on to the Super Bowl stuff?
Yeah, so I'm a sales guy. I still have a real job where I'm in sales. You ever just take a step back and think, I could still be working at Amex, or I could still be at ADP, and just realize, holy shit, this has been amazing for the last 7 years.
All the time, man.
Yeah.
All the time. Rogers comes on Tuesdays and any number of guests, and like every once in a while you just sit there and like this. I mean, I shouldn't be doing this. There's no reason why I should be doing this. So, like, or the very first moment of that was we went to Arkansas and golfed with John Daly. Like it was speaking like dude, he was the coolest. He's everything you hear about John Daly and how cool he is and how down to earth and as a partier, it's all true. It's all true. He was the absolute best. But yes, Carl, all the time, every single day. We talk about it in the office. Pat says it too. He's like, there's no reason why we should be doing this. We're the dumbest group of human beings. We just came together and it's working. Who knows why? But no, we think about it literally every week.
It's awesome, man. That's it shows, like you don't forget where you came from. Like that's just one of those things that if you, and where we came from, like in Carl back east, Reynolds is from back east. Like it has something. And if you don't lose it, you keep it and you just grow it. I don't know. It speaks volumes.
I mean, none of us there in that building think that we should be doing what we're doing. So it works.
I love it. All right. Well, before we move on, that's Tone Diggs. He's at Tone Diggs, ToneDiggz on Twitter. Fantastic follow. Just guys, listen to the show. Just go follow him, and then you'll know why afterward. I call him the Cowboy on the Pat McAfee show. He's the host of the Hammer Dahn podcast with Pat Gumpy and Michael Lombardi. It's at Hammer Dahn, DAHN.
Little Pittsburgh there.
Little Pittsburghese for the boys. Let's talk Super Bowl. Before we do, I just want to mention the New Look Gaming Today. You can find it still at gamingtoday.com. It's taking some changes. You're going to see some, new changes to the site. Our podcast is probably going to change. We got a lot of things happening there. We'll move forward. We'll tell you about that later. And we're going to talk props as well here in a minute. I just wanted to mention to go to propswap.com, where you can see all the Kansas City and Tampa Bay tickets as a way to hedge without having to go make a new bet. There are also future tickets across all sports and even NBA MVP tickets, which I don't even have a clue what to go with there. Get a great number, buy 2 tickets, keep one, and put the other one on propswap.com. So we got that out of the way. Super Bowl time, boys. Super Bowl time. Listen, we've been talking about this shit for 2 weeks. It feels like 2 months. You guys are doing a 3-hour show every day, Diggs. Super Bowl side and total. Is there anything left to talk about for the Super Bowl side and total?
Me personally, no. I don't think so. Not at all. I mean,
Carl?
I know where I'm going.
Okay, so you go first. Where are you going? Who you like?
Chiefs.
I'm with you. I wore the red shirt underneath. I wore my red hat, brought to you by ECSI, my boys up there in Boston and all that. They're giving out picks. They do a great job, but he gave me the gear. I said I would wear it on the show. Carl, we got the rundown, and we said we're going to just mention Super Bowl side and total.
Yep.
Diggs, Chiefs. Me, Chiefs. Brady is your boy. Tell us what you like.
Since I've been on the show, I was harping on how I'm not going to bet on the Patriots. I'm not betting on the Patriots because I don't want to have any conflicting interests during the game. Well, it's not the Patriots. I'm going with Tampa Bay. I cannot bet against Tom Brady. I can't. I'll take the 3 points. I'd like to get it to 4, but I'm going to take the points, and then I'm not going to be conflicted, and I can enjoy the game.
Diggs, this is like just going down with the ship with like Big Ben. Like you got to know at some point, like it's over, right? I mean, can he do this?
Well, Carl, I respect what you said first and foremost. I haven't bet on a Steeler game in probably 10 years. A lot of people in the office.
No jujubes, no nothing for you,
No,
really?
no.
You don't bet the
No.
game, or you don't bet on
I
the
don't touch it. I don't touch anything on it.
Wow.
I don't
Too
want to jinx
personal?
it. I don't want to jinx it. And a lot of people tell me that it's not very humble of me to think that if I pick the game, it's going to influence the outcome. So I get where Carl's coming as far as not betting the Patriots, and I respect him for using his brain to not bet against Tom, because everyone who's bet against Tom for the last 20 years has lost. I just think that there is a new Tom, and it's Patrick Mahomes, and I am deathly afraid to bet against him. I can go to bed at night, Super Bowl Sunday, if Tampa covers. I'd be like, all right, that's fine. We lost. I was on the wrong side. But if I bet against Mahomes, if I bet against the Chiefs, and then they obviously come out and dominate, I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night, because I knew that's the side that I should have been on.
There you go. That sums it up. That's the side and total discussion. That's perfect. I think a lot of people are thinking that way. Like the majority of the tickets, it feels like, have been on the Chiefs. There's been no line movement. It went from, anywhere that was 3.5 got grabbed, except the place in Colorado where Mattress Mac grabbed it. It went to 3 late 20 in a lot of places. There's a place in town called the South Point. They don't put juice on the 3. So they've bounced to 3.5 a couple times, but it's 3 flat, 3.5, 3.5, 3. That's the only one. Everywhere else has juice on it. So the majority of the tickets are on KC. I'll be shocked if anyone goes off to 3.5 again at this point. It's going to take a big bag. And it took Mattress Max to take it back to 3. Ain't nobody coming with that kind of bag. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Props. So in our preparation for the show, I text Diggs this morning, early in the morning. I said, we good? Yeah. You looking at props? Yeah. And he sends me the list of props that he's looking at. And I was like, oh shit. Like, you're crazy. You already got too many. Like, Diggs, you're a guy that likes to bet. The Super Bowl got a menu that you can't. I mean, like, I watched you scroll today on the show on FanDuel trying to find a prop. It's impossible on the apps. What are you looking at betting with props?
Dave, just because I'm on a gambling show and I host a gambling show does not mean I'm a smart gambler or even a good gambler at that. My entire goal for the year is to build a bankroll to lose on the Super Bowl. And if I win on the Super Bowl, congrats. But all of this entire year is to I love betting almost everything on the Super Bowl. And there was a couple of stats this week that jumped out to me. Carl probably knows this. Tom Brady has only scored 3 points in the first quarter combined in all 9 of the Super Bowls.
It's probably on his paper right there, right, Carl? You got it written down?
Actually, no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I try to forget about that stat.
Go ahead, Diggs.
And then on the other side, with the Chiefs, they've had tendencies of jumping out to slow starts. They were down 9-0 last week or 10-0 last week to the Bills. They jumped out against Cleveland, fine. But then last year in the playoffs, they were down 20-10 to the 49ers. They were down to the Texans. They were down to
every game
Titans,
down,
I believe. So I took some of that. So I was looking at no points in the first 6 minutes because of the Brady and because of the Chiefs' slow start. I'm looking at both teams to score more in the second half than they do in the first half.
Sure.
I was looking at the under on the first quarter.
What was the number, 10 or 10.5?
10.5, I got that.
Good number. Okay.
I took both teams. So the Bucks their first scoring play, the first scoring play of the game for the Bucks to be a field goal is plus 410. I took that. For the Chiefs, it's plus 400. So, if I hit either one, if the first score of the game a field goal, I'm in positive there.
For the brand, you did the kicking thing. That was for the brand right there, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was just good value. And speaking of good value, we talked about it on our show today a lot with Pat, obviously because he kicked off a Super Bowl. No touchback is on a 17-2 run in Super Bowls. And Pat had told us because when the first kickoff of a Super Bowl, the ball is not broken in. So if you ever felt a brand new football, it's hard as a rock.
Oh, it's a cement block. Yeah.
It's a cement block. So most balls, they have their trainers break in and stuff like that. But the Super Bowl, the first ball that they kick off, the first ball of the game is not touched, not broken in at all. Because as soon as it's kicked, they send it to the Hall of Fame. So Pat said it's the worst ball he's ever kicked in his entire life. High school, college, NFL. Like, the ball is impossible. So that's probably why it's on a 17-2 run of there not being a touchback. This year, I believe the yes to being a touchback is minus 310 or something like that, and the no is plus 230. Wow. And he was talking about how he thinks the yes is because Harrison Butker, he said it has the strongest leg he's ever seen from a kicker.
Oh.
So
and if the Chiefs kick off, it's going to be a touchback, essentially the way the bettors think.
Correct. But I'm taking the no touchback plus 230 just because based off of that knowledge, and it's on a 17-2 run, 230 is not bad value there.
No, for sure. No, that's good stuff. And that's stuff that's not your basic shit. Like, I like that. That's going deep. Now, will you go further in player to score the first touchdown? Are you looking to bet all this shit? Or are you going to kind of just be selective and target stuff?
I'd like to be selective and target stuff. I do not like I've never liked the touchdown props because, like, a guy can have 250 yards and not get in the end zone, which bothers me a lot. If anything, I feel like the quarterbacks have been paying off for first touchdown this year. I may dabble a little bit on Mahomes rushing touchdown be the first of the game, which I'm not sure what the odds are. I'm sure I assume they're pretty well.
Yeah. First touchdown of the game. He's probably, I didn't look before the show, but it's around 20-1, 15-1, anywhere in that neighborhood. And Brady's like 25 or 30-1
which is not bad either, because they are not afraid to sneak Brady on the goal line. And then a player that I was targeting for unders, just because if you look at his stats here, his last, let's see here, he had 1 catch against Green Bay, 1 catch against New Orleans, 0 against Washington, 2 against Atlanta, 1 against Minnesota, is Gronk. I'm going to be targeting the under on Gronk.
His total's 2.5, I think.
2.5
per catches. You're going under?
I'm going under on the catches, 2.5, and under 31 on the yards. Carl, tell me I'm an idiot.
No, you're not. They just spread the ball around. He's got so many guys to throw the ball to that Gronk he's like the 4th guy on the check down list. I mean, he doesn't need to go to him as desperately as he did when he was up here.
I took the under on him in the Green Bay game of 27.5 yards. In the fourth quarter, I believe with like 5 minutes left, he caught a screen pass for 28 yards.
And broke it. Yes, he did. Did he finish with 28 yards?
Yes, he did, sir. Yes, he did.
That's the ones you remember, of course. And it's amazing because, I hear you guys talk about it, and I hear it all the time, how good the odds makers are, and we make the number and end up close. As good as they are, don't forget, there's a lot that are fucked up too. You only remember those ones, but you don't remember that you had, this number and it flew over by 20, or you had this team favored by 8 and the other team won by 10. So, I always tell people, it's not that good. It's good, but it's not that good all the time.
Those are some of the props I'm looking at, though.
Carl, what do you got prop wise? You sent me the text and you said, I got a couple. I want to run them by Diggs and you. What do you got?
Yeah, I got a handful of them. First of all, either punter to kick one into the end zone for a touchback. I got Townsend at plus 250 and Pinion at plus 325. There's going to be a punt kicked into the end zone in this game. You see it in every game. There's going to be one in this game. That seems like a
Those are big
no-brainer.
those are big prices.
They're-
We'll have to
they're
run
big,
that by Pat tomorrow, Diggsy. Like, see,
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a play.
I
Yeah.
agree. We talked about it today. The only issue is if how much punting.
Yeah, how much punting? Yep. No,
What
it's
else, Carl?
I got either team to miss a field goal, either team to miss an extra point. Both plus numbers, plus 120, plus 195. Again, and actually tying into that, I got a doink. A doink is a plus 375.
There you
How
go.
many-
I took it
I
too,
feel
Carl.
like I
You
tweeted
bet
this.
that too, Diggs? You bet that
Oh
too?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think in the wild card round, I think there were like 5 doinks in the wild card round. I feel like that should be 5 points if you hit an upright. It's got to be harder to hit the upright than it's got to be to hit.
Oh,
kick
it has to
field.
be. It
Right?
has to be. I would
The
think
Bears
so.
would have won a Super Bowl.
Bears won the Super Bowl. That's
Big in
right.
Chicago. There you go. Take another shot at the Bear fans. They love it. They love when you do. What
Yeah.
else, Carl?
I got coaches challenges, more than 1.5 coaches challenges in the game. It's if you're not challenging games in the Super Bowl, when are you going to challenge them?
Yeah. Well, you figure Arians will at one point because he
Yeah.
always does.
Yeah.
Andy's so hesitant to do it. Like he doesn't know. He doesn't like I don't know. I don't know if the Chiefs will, but yeah, 1.5. You figure there's got to be one each
Right.
half. I like that. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I
Carl.
got JPP.
Carl, I
with
got a
the-
question.
Yeah.
Do you know, is it strictly coaches, or if it goes to the booth under 2 minutes, does that count?
No, it's coaches only.
Okay.
Coaches. Yeah.
Check your rules. This is
Yep.
a big week in the sports book. I've spent many years at the counter or on the phone arguing with customers who think they had this, but they didn't have this. And that's a very good question, Diggs. That's a very, you need to check the parameters, the rules at the bottom of the sheets, the rules at the bottom of the apps, because there's a lot of things that you think you may bet on and you think you won during the game and you go to cash and they're like, nah, that's just not that. So
Yeah.
be careful with that. Carl, what else?
Yeah, a couple more. I've got JPP spent more time in the Packers backfield last week than Aaron Rodgers did. I mean, he was back there all week. Over half a sack. I mean, that's easy. One
Wow.
sack in the game. And they're
How
doing
many
first.
times Mahomes gets sacked, though? That's
Yeah.
the question. Like with that one, okay. All right, I'm just
I'm
letting you
telling
know.
you.
I'm just telling you the other side. I'm not
I
saying
know.
you're right or wrong, but
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. Go ahead.
I
And
know.
don't the books have a ton of liability on JPP and Shaq Barrett MVP?
I
MVP,
actually,
yeah.
I have that one. That's mine. I'm going to address the MVP for me. Go ahead.
I think I got 2 more. Brady over half a yard rushing.
Oh, I love that. He's
Come
going to
on.
do a QB sneak at one point.
Yeah, he's got the only concern I have is when he takes a knee at the end of the game because he's going to win his 7th ring. That's the
That
only concern I have.
destroyed people last year. That
Oh, I remember.
destroyed people.
I
I
know.
was in the book at the Cosmo or the Venetian, and that people were steaming. And then they come at you at the counter like, you guys knew. Like nobody knew. We didn't know. He went backwards, and it changed. The swing on that thing alone was in the 7-figure mark.
Yeah.
Carl, we had that conversation this week about Brady, and someone told me that he's one of the only quarterbacks in the league who doesn't take a full step backwards because he
No.
does not like to lose the yard. He likes to actually take the knee
Well,
moving forward.
it was a big thing. I think it was 2 years ago. He went over 1,000 career yards rushing. And then the next game, he took a knee and he went back down to 999. So ever since then, I've noticed he doesn't go back a full 2 yards or whatever. He pretty much stays forward, so only loses like half a
Unbelievable.
yard.
What's the last one you got, Carl?
I got 2 more. Mahomes to throw a pick. Could happen. Why not?
He's thrown 6 all year, 3 in one game and 1 in the other 3.
Yep.
I'll
figure-
book that one. I
figure
don't
I'm
think
either
he's thrown a pick.
I'm either going to get a sack or a pick. I'll get one of those.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
And
if you like
then,
the odds.
The last one isn't really related to Sunday, but I've got the Patriots plus 3,000 to win the Super Bowl next year.
Fucking Homer pick. He can't. Every week, Diggs, he mentions the Patriots somehow. Every goddamn week.
I don't know what I'm going to do when football's over.
I
You're gonna
respect
talk
it.
about the goddamn Bruins beating the Penguins
That's true.
every fucking time they play. Every Penguins can't beat the Bruins. Now we couldn't beat the Steelers, couldn't beat the Patriots, and he had that on me. And now the goddamn Penguins cannot figure out the Bruins. It's really
Yeah, talk about the bees, toughest bond in the league.
I got 2 props. 3. Shortest touchdown under 1.5 yards. There's a 1-yard touchdown in almost every game. Now, the play, they throw a ball up in the corner. and get an interference penalty, all that shit, you're going to get a 1-yard touchdown. I like both of your guys to score between Mahomes and Brady. One of them is going to get a 1-yard touchdown. If they don't, the fullback does. So I like that. Shortest touchdown under 1.5 yards. Another one, staple every year. Wise guys bet it. I've seen it happen. Don't have to score a lot, but a team to score 3 consecutive times. Happens all the time. Football's a momentum game. You don't have to have a high-scoring game. This game's total line is 56. There's going to be scoring. Well, somebody's going to score 3 consecutive times. Last year, the game went under. Both Kansas City and the Niners each scored 3 consecutive times. I think that's an auto play there. And the last one is the Super Bowl MVP. Diggs, you mentioned it. I got this from my friend Micah Roberts. Shout out to him, a writer, former book director. 30 of 55 MVPs have been quarterbacks, including Tom Brady, who's won it 4 times. That's hashtag Carl Haskell, at Carl Haskell on Twitter. But 2 of the last 7 were defensive guys, Malcolm Smith and Von Miller. I'm telling you right now, don't bet a defensive guy. Super Bowl MVP is going to be Mahomes or Brady. It's going to take a gigantic effort for someone else to win it. And for a defensive guy to win a game or win an MVP with a total of 56, I don't know what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to be like the guy that, intercepted Neil O'Donnell back in the day. Steelers. It's going to have to be like that because there ain't no way. The game, Polamalu was the biggest bet guy when the Steelers played the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. I'm working in the book, and people are betting Polamalu over and over and over. His odds went from 100 to 1. We had to close this thing at 20 to 1. If he would have scored or won the MVP, we might have closed. They might have closed the book in Vegas like it was over. So, but don't bet them. Those are my 3. That's great prop talk. That's really good information. Now we got to get to the halftime show. This is the first halftime for me that this is the first time in 17 years that I'm not working in a sports book. I haven't seen a goddamn halftime show in 17 years because I've been either in a risk room booking it or I've been at the counter taking the bets over the counter and organizing that. So Carl asked me, what's the best halftime show you ever seen? Diggsy, you got a halftime show that sticks out that maybe, was a good time or you were somewhere special where, it sticks out in your mind? Halftime show, the Super Bowl?
I remember Bruno Mars being great.
He was good. I heard that. My daughter said he was awesome.
Bruno Mars was great. I mean, last year was pretty good. I'm not a big halftime show guy either. I normally, use that to take a break, take a step outside, gather myself. But no, if I had to pick one, I remember Bruno Mars being awesome.
Okay. Carl, what stuck out to you when you sent me that in the text? I'm like, I wonder what he's coming with.
So
don't tell me the Madonna one in the wardrobe malfunction.
No.
One everybody's gonna fucking see.
No. I think it was. It's not to bring it back to the Patriots, but seriously, it's not the Patriots. U2 in the first Patriots win was right after September 11th. It was 5 months after September 11th. U2 playing Beautiful Day with the names of everyone who died at the trade centers scrolling on the screen. I don't know how it could be any better than that. I thought that one was unbelievable.
Didn't Prince have the rain in Tampa? Was that in Tampa?
Prince had the rain in Tampa. Yeah, that was another good one.
Okay.
That was another. Go way back too. Michael Jackson was pretty good. Way back when he did his, it was a pretty good show too.
I got a note here. Reynolds, help me out here. What is the Grambling marching band? Was it Super Bowl I?
I was just screwing around. I was like, I can't stand the halftime show, and I just picked the worst one you could. I actually a few years ago tried suggesting. I was like, everybody just shuts up and reads for about 30 minutes, and then we go back to the game.
That's awesome. But the one halftime show that I saw, I was in the book at the M, and the marketing director comes out to the counter. Everybody's in the back watching the game, all the bosses. And this was a gambling joint. Like back in the day, 2009, 10, 11, 12, like we had people in there with bags of money. We were taking stuff. And the game went to halftime. The line came out, and we got guys running up to bet. And this marketing guy says, crank it up. Turn it up. I want to watch the show. And I'm screaming across the counter, what did you say? 10 dimes on what? And this guy says, turn it up one more time. I shut the drawer. I said, fuck this. I'm going home. I can't hear. I can't take any bets. I'm done. And I shut the drawer and left. So that's the only halftime that I remember being in the book. I'm looking forward to enjoying the halftime show with the wife and kids maybe and watching the game. I don't know, man. That's all I got. Diggsy, where are you watching the game?
We are doing a Super Bowl show for 2.5 hours before the game. And then we have a projector set up at our office. So I think we're going to be watching it there.
Oh, man. All the boys, that's going to be fun. You're going to be
it'll be a good time.
Bets and all the apps. Do you do in-game wagering at all?
I don't normally.
Okay. All right. That's a fun way to do it. But I don't know if you're ready for that. Like, I don't know if you should even start doing that. That might lead to even like more stuff.
If I'm being honest with you, why I don't is because I empty my account before the game starts. And unless a bet settles at some point during the game, I've got no cash left to bet live with.
Strap, that's it. We're at zero. We got hey, but this Super Bowl is different. You got these props. If you bet the first quarter and it wins, it'll get greater than that. You'll have ammo.
Listen, I bet until I lose.
I got a guy for that. We'll talk after the show. I like that.
Thank you. 1-800 Gambler.
So before we go, again, I want to circle back everybody's Twitter handle. The show is at GT Cash Consider right now. Carl Haskell is at Carl Haskell. Reynolds is Ian Reynolds 2305. Newbie Talks, a friend of the show. We're going to do some stuff more with him. He's at Newbie Talks, and we're gonna mention that. So every show, Diggsy, we end with a take a minute segment, and there's no pressure. You can say anything you want. I mean, you've been fantastic. You're just like you are on the show. I can't thank you enough for joining us. But take a moment and think about what you want to say in this take a minute segment. And while you do, beverage up whatever you're doing there. He's out walking around for the YouTube feed. Watch Diggs walk around the palace over there.
I let the dog outside because it was starting to bark.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's fair. Carl, you always lead us off. You're the leadoff hitter of the crew. You got to start with the take a minute segment in 3, 2, 1.
So there is a guy up here in Boston for many, many years. He was called the Godfather of Sports Radio, Eddie Endelman. And he used to say, you know what? You're rooting for these teams. You're not rooting for the people. You're really rooting for laundry. It doesn't matter who's on the team. You're really rooting for the laundry, the uniforms. That's all you really care about is they're wearing your uniforms. That's what you root for. This weekend is going to be the first time I can really say honestly that I'm not rooting for laundry. My basement TV room got really loud during the NFC Championship game last week. For the first time, I broke my 2020 football cherry last week because it was the first time there was any excitement in my basement for football. So I'm very excited to watch Brady win again. Hopefully he does. And hopefully this is going to be the end of me talking about Brady every single week on the show.
And oh my goodness, hit the mark too. My God, Carl, you really, for somebody that just literally got the call almost like, Diggs did. I still ain't giving you the bag, though. I ain't got no bag story yet, but hopefully someday soon, maybe the bag will come. But good job. Take a minute segment at Carl Haskell. Outstanding. All right, Diggs, let's cowboy up a little bit. Did you really get got, by the way, with that Durant trade? Did you get got? That was real?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm not proud about it. Yeah. Not proud about it, dude.
You handled it so good. That apology. Did you just come up with that apology right away?
Yeah.
It was so good. You're a fucking pro too. Listen, I don't want to hear all this bullshit of a sales guy, this and that. You got it figured out. All right, Diggs. You got take a minute segment starts in 3, 2, 1.
Dave, Carl, we're being robbed this year. We're being robbed of one of my favorite bets every single year, and that is the national anthem over-under. Okay? Normally, it's one person. You can research. You can look at all their YouTubes of all the times that they've sung the national anthem. You can get averages of those. You can make a smart, educated guess on whether the national anthem is going to go over or under. You could even listen to the internet and hear 4 rehearsals on how long they went in rehearsal. Well, this year we have Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan, a duet. How the fuck are we supposed to research a duet, especially when Eric Church has never sung a national anthem in public? I've got no idea what to do. It's ruining one of my favorite bets of the year. I have no idea whether to pick over or under on the national anthem this year or not.
Oh, I love it. Are you going to bet it anyway?
For sure.
Of course. And you're going to bet it over. No matter what. I want to text or screenshot. You're betting it over. You don't know anything about it. The guy ain't never sung it. You're betting over.
I think it's at 159. She did a 140 at the NHL outdoor game. He likes to do guitar solos. It's a duet. I'm going to go over.
I love it. I love it. He's at Tone Diggs, TONEDIGZ. Follow him on Twitter today, immediately, and just listen to the show, Hammer Dahn and the Pat McAfee show. It's great shit. All right. My Take a Minute segment is going to start right now. And Diggsy, you can bet the over when I mean the Take a Minute segment. That's as good as betting the over in the anthem.
Thank you.
So I just want to thank Gaming Today, first and foremost, for, giving us a shot, getting us the equipment, and saying, get together and talk and do what you do. And not really giving us much restriction, guidance. You just do it. If this is your plan, just do it. And they gave us a shot. And this became a place to come for Alan at Percentberg, Mo at Hedy's Takes. And then they had to go away. Me and Reynolds have been here the whole time. Howard popped in at Gaming Today News, and we're able to just continue doing the show. We didn't have sports. We did the show. I had a stroke. We did the show. They left the show. We did the show. We got Carl. Carl, you're on the show. And Carl's doing the show. And we were able to have guests and meet people like Diggs, who, you reach out, you make a contact, and then boom, you come on and do the show. And we don't take ourselves too serious. And we're good people, good guys, and we've able to continue to grow the show. And, I've had my kids on, talking about all kinds of crazy shit. Hell, I told the story about the proctology exam on the show. I got a colonoscopy scheduled next week, guys. By the way, there's going to be a story about that. I can't wait for that. I got some drink I got to drink. I never done it before. I'm actually a little nervous, but hopefully everything's going to be okay. So shout out to Gaming Today. The show's going to change a little bit as far as name, this and that, but we're going to go, we're going to grow, and we're going to keep going. So that's what, guys do, and that's what we're going to do. Last thing I wanted to mention is a shout out to a coach that I coached with. His name's Vern. I got a lot of people that, I've been coaching the kids softball, travel softball for years. I've made a lot of connections. There's a lot of you listening to this show. Vern's not doing good. Vern's not doing good at all. Like it's time. I hope he makes it this Sunday. I mean, it's that close. And it's been a rough week, but we keep showing up. And I just want you to think and take time in a special time of the Super Bowl and celebrate with family and friends and be together and really absorb the moment with everyone and anyone that you're watching it with. And thank you guys, for listening. So I just wanted to mention that before, and for you guys listening and have been texting me, asking me how he is. If reach out. That's all I can tell you. And that's it. There ain't no downer. We're going up. We're going up and up and up. So for the boys, I'm going to close the show right now. Our special guest, Diggs, brother, I can't thank you enough. Hopefully this is the beginning, not the end, and we can, talk more and do a bunch of things. But thank you for joining the show. He's at Tone Diggs. Carl, grand slam, baby. Hit it out of the park again, helping out, social media manager, coordinating producer, and, co-host of the fucking show. I mean, co-host of the show. Super Bowl, Tom Brady, going down. Reynolds producing the show. I am Reynolds 2305. As always, thank you, sir. Listeners of the show, follow the show at GT Cash Consider. Stay tuned. We got a few special things planned. We will talk to you guys next week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are winning and covering.